Hello everyone. Good evening if you're in India, and good morning folks if you're from the US, Canada and other regions who are just waking up. I'm just signing in live for a minute before the planned time just to make sure that we are ready and there are no other hiccups. So thank you all for joining. I'm seeing everyone joining. Hey Josie and hey Meredith. So I'm going to wait for one more minute to let them join. Before that, let me introduce myself. I am Coach Shobana. I am a certified nutrition coach. I have done few lives before and introduced myself already. I'm also a team member of Dr. Mark Method, and today with us we are going to have Coach Meredith and Coach Josie, coaches in Dr. Mark Method program, join us for a live. And we're going to be talking about what are the crazy things, fad diets that we have followed when we were younger. What would we not do at this point in life which we have done when we were in our 20s. So we're going to talk about this today, and I'm going to invite Josie and Meredith into the call. Here. Hey,
Hi,
good morning.
how's it going? Good morning. Well, yeah, good afternoon or
Good
evening to you,
evening,
right?
probably. So, Josie, were you able to join? Did I let you in? I saw both of you and I pressed the join, but I don't see her now.
And we have not done a three-way live before, so
Yes,
this could be
yes.
interesting. I don't know. She probably sent a request to
No, it was
join.
there. It was there, and I did. Yes, let me see again. One more second. I requested. So, Josie, I did allow you in. It says that you're already there, and I have to remove you from live. That was the only option it's giving me. Can you see if you received an invite from me, or is there something? Okay, maybe it's adding. Yes. Okay, let's see. Did, okay, we are trying 3-person live for the first time, and all of
Can you
us
see
are
me?
trying to figure out. Hey, yes, Josie.
Hi!
Hey, good morning, folks. So,
We figured it out.
yes,
Awesome.
thank you all for joining in
Oh, thank
here.
you.
So, let me introduce both of you once for the followers who you may not know. And in between, I might pause a few times so that you can see if someone you know is there and say hi to them. So far, I have not seen anyone that I know, but thank you all for joining in. Coach Meredith from Canada and Coach Josie from US are here, and I am here in Chennai, India. So all three of us are part of Dr. Mark Method program, and today we're going to discuss about what are the crazy stuff or fat diets that we have done. So this is regarding the nutrition that we are going to talk about, fat loss, weight loss. We might have done other crazy things which we are not going to talk about today. It's going to be about fat loss, to see the scale number go down. What are the things that we did when we were younger which we would not do now? So all of us follow the flexible dieting program where all foods are can be part of our life. There is no good food, no bad food, and we show up imperfectly. We are not going to chase perfection, but we're going to chase consistency. And that is what has given us the result. And we know that now with all the knowledge and education that we have acquired in the past few years. So let's talk about some of the things which we have done before and take a few seconds to acknowledge some people that you may know here. My sister Ramya is there, and my youngest client Ankita is here. Hi, guys.
Yeah, I see my friend Jolene, who is also a former client of mine, as well as Donna, who was
Hey,
in the
Donna.
Dr. Mark Method. She'll be joining level 2 pretty
Oh,
soon. I know
hey.
Alexandra, who's in here as well. So there's a few people, Jana Allen. Yeah, I know a few people that are joining in. So this is fun. Yep.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
let's start with some questions that I had for both of you. So I did kind of go through both your Instagram profile today again. Although I know you, I did go through all your posts to see if there's something that will trigger some memories and we can talk about that. So one thing I saw common in both of you is that you both lost 60 pounds over a period of time. That was some of the posts that I saw. And you have maintained it, Josie, for 11 years and Meredith for 17 years. So when we say, this is one question that I always have, and the clients say that when we say we maintained, are we just sticking to that one particular number on the scale? This is something which everyone says they gain 1 kg after they stop tracking, and then they say that, oops, I have to go back again. And I have the same mindset sometimes, and I need to really talk myself out of, hey, it doesn't have to be that particular number. So what is your take on that? So you maintain the exact number. Are you looking at that particular scale number you reached first?
Right. I'll hop in on this one first because this has been quite a journey for me. And it's so cliche to say that, but it's absolutely true. When I think of I was 20 years old when I first decided that I was tired of carrying around extra weight, and I was playing rec basketball, and I was literally had activity induced asthma at that point. It would take me like an entire day to recover from playing a basketball game. And I was 20 years old, and I was just knew that there was more for me. I knew that there was an athlete inside of me, but I didn't know how to bring that out. And I just knew I wanted to feel better. I wanted to have my clothes fit better. I wanted to feel better in my body. I was tired of just like putting on a happy face and, pretending that everything was fine when I would spend an entire 2 hours trying to get ready to go out with my friends when I was 20 years old, and I'd revert back to baggy jeans and an oversized hoodie to go out to the bar because I didn't want to show my body. I didn't feel comfortable in anything else. I wanted to essentially hide. So I got tired of that. And the things that I did to lose my initial 60 pounds is definitely something that I wouldn't recommend necessarily, but I don't regret it because it brought me to have those additional experiences to take me to where I am right now. And we can get into that. But as for the maintenance, that question, I initially lost about 60 pounds. I got down to at that point, my lowest, I was about 140 pounds. To give you some context, I'm 5'7.5". So I'll give that little half an inch to myself. And so at 140 pounds, I was at that point though, just a smaller version of my bigger self. Yep. So I had lost a lot of muscle mass because I lost weight, and I wasn't necessarily focused on fat loss at the time and doing resistance training and those types of things. So my body looked smaller, but it didn't necessarily have the shape and definition that people want. Like, people think when I lose weight, I'm going to look a certain way. But if they're focused on weight loss, it's going to look different than if you're focused on fat loss. And again, that's a whole other thing we can get into as well. So at 140 pounds, I'm about 20 years old at the time. And then I started to get into resistance training, and I decided like I wanted to change the shape of my body, and I wanted to start to get stronger and physically fit and those things. And so my body composition started to change, and I actually put on weight. And so then I was, sitting at like 150 pounds, that sort of thing. And then I really started to amp up putting on mass because I decided to do a bodybuilding competition 10 years ago. So at that point too, I really revved it up, and then my body weight increased more because I was putting on muscle mass. I've toggled in between this, 140, 150, 160 pounds on stage for my bodybuilding. I was down to 130 pounds on stage. Wow. So, I had to lose another, say 25 pounds off of me. At that point, then, am I starting to sacrifice some more muscle? Probably at that point to get that small for stage. I was quite lean, but just definitely not maintainable. So got myself back up through a series of like rebuilding my relationship with food and figuring out there was a little body stuff happening because all of a sudden you're putting weight back on, and it's like I was 130 pounds, I'm 150 again. That messes with you a little bit too. But then, I continued to work out and maintained in around 150 pounds. And, then I had my little one. So my daughter's 6 years old now, but then you go through pregnancy and you put weight on, and that's what you're supposed to do. So then body weight comes up obviously through pregnancy, and then postpartum weight coming off. And I know what weight I feel the best at, but I don't get caught up on a number anymore, because I think maintenance has to be now for me where am I finding that balance between I feel really good in my workouts, I feel strong, I feel capable, my clothes fit, you know, how I want them to, I feel good in my clothes, my energy is good, I'm sleeping well. That will change somewhere between 150 and 155, 57 pounds. So like right now I'm sitting about 155-ish.
Okay.
At my leanest, what I like to be is about 150 if I want to like, but that comes with some sacrifices and some compromises.
Exactly.
So it's, do I
Exactly.
want to continue to drink some wine and eat some chocolate and not have to track every single thing I'm eating?
Right.
Then yes, I'll probably maintain a little bit higher, like 155 or 6, something like that. And if I'm dialing things in for a certain reason, just because I choose to, or I have a performance-based goal and I want to be a little
Right.
lighter, then I might get down to like 150. So I think maintenance for me is I have a number. If I hit 160 for me, and this is just my own numbers, I'm
Right.
not saying there's anything attached to a number. Like if you're 160 pounds, absolutely, if you feel great at that number, everyone's going to have a different number.
Mhm.
For me,
Right.
I just know if I get to 160, I start to not feel great. And I know I've probably dropped some habits. My clothes are probably not going to fit quite as I want them to. I don't feel very good in my body. So then that's my magical number where it's like, oh, you got it. Like you
Go
got to
back.
rein things back in a little bit. Right.
Right.
So to me, that maintenance is going to look different for people, but it's somewhere for me between that like 5 to 7 pound range. Anything within that to me is maintenance. If you go up a pound or two overnight, that's absolutely 100% normal. And that's expected, and it's normal
Right.
for your body weight to fluctuate, even for women upwards to, you know, 3, 4, 5 pounds, depending on the time of the month for them too. It's
Right.
very normal to step on the scale and, oh my goodness, I gained 4 pounds. Well, no, it's hormonally, you're, you know, 5 days out from your period, whatever it might be, right? That stuff is normal, but when you know that, then you don't get so flustered by seeing the number of on the scale change
Right.
from day to day or week to week. And I think when you know that maintenance isn't exactly that number, then you can relax a little bit and just enjoy the ride of having those little fluctuations up and down, because
Perfect.
that's maintenance to me, is staying within that frame. So sorry, I took over that, but
No.
Josie, what are your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Meredith.
Yeah, that
Up
was great.
to you, Josie.
That's almost, I won't go too long because I have basically the same story as Meredith, to be completely honest. When I first lost weight, I got down 130 was about my lowest weight, but I was, like Meredith said, I had no muscle. I had a trainer and everything. I had a couple sessions with a trainer, so that actually gave me a really good advantage, having a coach to help me do the right things. But the one thing that I did not focus on was protein, and that's like one thing that I really wish I did different. Like if I could go back, obviously can't do it, but like that would be the one thing I would have focused on. I lost a lot of muscle. It took me about 6 to 8 months to lose the initial 50 to 60 pounds. I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, when it was done, it was that like I was just super little. I was just tiny. I had no muscle definition. I was even strength training while going through that fat loss phase. So I was starting to get some, but it wasn't enough because I wasn't getting any protein. I was just, you know, I was in a calorie deficit, all that. So it was jarring, I will say. Once I met with, then I got another trainer because I was like, I want to, like Meredith said, I want to get actually defined. I'm like, I just looked that like skinny fat look, which I just wasn't all about. Plus I had like loose skin. So I'm like, how can we tighten all this up, make more proportionate to what I look like now? And, that's when she was like, all right, well, you expect your weight's going to go up. And I remember being so scared when she proposed that idea to me, because I was like, well, I just worked so hard. Like I had this massive achievement. I'm going to gain. She's like, you know, you could over the next couple months gain, you know, 5 to 6 pounds. We're going to, you know, increase your calories, increase your strength training, stuff like that. And I remember being so terrified. But once I saw the results of like, oh, I actually look way better, 5 to 10 pounds. I've never been since that initial fat loss, I've never been 130 again. It's just, I feel like I look way better than I did at that weight too, just because I developed muscle and all that stuff. So like, that was a good experience to go through, because I went, okay, I can see my biggest fear didn't actually come true. I didn't like revert back to my old habits completely. Like it's fine. And like Meredith says, I have like a 10-pound buffer, and depending on the time of the year, like in the, like, I like to be between, for my numbers, it's like 138 to like 148. If I'm in that range, I'm not doing anything drastic. You know, like if I get closer, usually around the holidays, that 145, 148, that's when I'm like, okay, Josie, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna track just for a couple, but I don't do anything drastic because it's like,
Right.
I know that if I'm in that range, I'm good to go, and I'm maintaining and doing what I need to be doing. And I think the one thing that Meredith had a good point about too is, you know, yeah, the scale weight's important, and that's something I pay attention to. I think you just, you know, you want to see where you're at and see if anything needs to be adjusted. But for me, it's at this point, it's all about a feeling, right? Like I've gotten past the point of like worrying so much about the weight, and it's like, how do I feel? Do I feel energized? Do I feel like, you know, I'm eating foods that make me feel good? Like I've been on the other end of things too, where, you know, you are thinner, but you're not doing healthy things, you know, like in
Right.
college and things like that. And it's like, I don't want to be on that end of the spectrum either. So it's like, where's this happy medium of, I'm at a body composition I like how I look, but I also know that I'm doing things that make me feel good, like exercise, eating right. So that's what maintenance for me looks like. And if somebody's just watching this and they're just starting, it, you know, it's, you build up to these things, right? But I think the main takeaway you can get from this is that that fear in the back of your head that's like, okay, I'm getting to my goal. Am I going to screw this up and go all the way back? Or like,
Right.
it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen overnight. And you're in control of this. It's not something that you should be worried about. Just take it day by day, because you don't know yet where you're going to feel the best and most comfortable. So it's just kind of that process of figuring it all out. And you just got to do the things every single day, and that's how you get it done.
Right. So thank you so much, Josie. So to summarize what you both said is that there is a maintenance range. Maintenance is always a range, and it's not one particular number. And I agree with that. When I was my leanest, I hit 60 when I was working with Mark last year and lost. And now I am just going intuitive and occasionally do the tracking, and I'm like 62 to 63. So I'm up by 3 kgs, which is like what, around 7 pounds, 8 pounds. So it is absolutely normal. And when it crosses the 63 mark, I just start tracking for a few days to see what's happening, what has changed. So what we all continue to do is tracking is just a tool. It is not something that we do forever. We have used it for a while to learn the portion sizes and what we are doing. And same way with the scale number on our body weight, is just a tool for us to understand whether we are going trending up or trending down. And it's not something which you attach any emotion to. So many clients, we face this where they get anxiety every day that they have to get up on the scale. And as we all kind of do the similar practice, we do suggest that they take the weight every day so we can take a trend line to see where they are going with their nutrition. We just don't go by plugging in the numbers in that TD calculator and say, okay, this is the number, go with this, end of 3 months, you're going to get the results. We check every week on what's happening and practically see how it's affecting them. Each body is different from theory and practice. So we've all been doing that. So now we are talking scientific. We are explaining everything. We have it, right? So we did touch upon that you have done things which you would not do now and which you would not ask anyone to do. As a coach, we would not be recommending. Can we start with at least one thing which each of you have done? I will start with mine, where I have posted yesterday as a, just as a, to post about our live, that 6 months during my engagement period, I decided that I was like, I think 58, 60 kgs at that time, just finished graduation. And I said, okay, let me go. I'm going to go for this next 3-4 months. I'm going to have just a liquid diet, not eat too much of the carbs. I cut out the rice. So we are practically South Indian family. We eat rice as our main meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, some form of rice will come in. Idli, dosa also has got, it's rice based. Our lunch is rice. Dinner is whatever's left over from lunch we eat. All the vegetables will be done for lunch. We still eat just the rice without adding the vegetable or the protein. So why waste the food, right? We grew up like that. So whatever's left over for lunch, we finish for dinner. So I said, okay, I'm not going to eat anything. But I think I was just in the diet mindset, and there was the binging happening in between where I think
Hmm.
I was just eating because just before my wedding, I was up by 10 kgs by not eating anything. If you see the photos that I think I will probably post how I looked 6 months before my wedding, and on the day of wedding is what I have post now. I was like a full moon.
Oh,
So I had the plump face, and so 10 kgs up. So
wow.
I was 68 when I got married, and I still did not understand what had happened because I
Hmm.
just thought I'm controlling the food. I never went for a walk.
Hmm.
I had never seen a gym. I did nothing.
Hmm.
Right.
Basically, I thought if I just watch what I'm eating, which I was not apparently, it just was in my mind. So probably I was eating something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it was. Hi, Sophie, and many more people that we know who have joined in. Thank you guys for joining in. Josie, Meredith, and I, we are talking about what all we have done, crazy fat diets that we have done when we were younger, and whether it worked or not.
Yeah.
So, and then we moved to Japan, and I think something worked there. We didn't have everyone walks.
Yeah.
Our house was 20 minutes away from the station. So you need to go, you get a very tiny fridge in the house. So you can't stock things. Every day you walk to the grocery store, carry your grocery, come back, just milk and food for just that day. So you keep doing it every day. You walk everywhere. And I had nothing else to do at home. I didn't have a working visa. So I would just go around walking 5, 6 hours a day. And there was a
Hmm.
community gym nearby, spend 2 hours there, come back home 6 o'clock in the evening, buy all the groceries, come back home, make your dinner, and pretty much probably one meal, which was enough. The other meals were just picking something off the convenience store, maybe a yogurt, fruits, something like
Hmm.
that. I think in 10 months, I had come down to 58 kgs, the one which I was dreaming that I will achieve when uh, on my wedding day.
Hmm.
And I maintained it for 3, 4 years, but I still didn't understand the science behind that. Because
Right.
Yeah.
after my daughter's birth, I went to US and car and the rich food and the things that are in abundance and the portion sizes, no control. I went back up again, and it
Hmm.
was like back and forth. My son was born there. I hit 80 kgs almost at that time, and I still didn't understand the science. Still, I did the nutrition coach and the personal training certification, that I understood that there's something where you can come to like a middle ground, right?
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
don't need to
Hmm.
be in two extremes. So that is my story. I have done all crazy stuff. One of the thing is this, not thinking I'm not eating anything, but apparently the weight didn't come out of thin air, right? I should have been eating a lot of things which didn't register in my mind. So let's
Yeah.
talk about at least one thing like this, which both of you have done, which,
Can I hop in on
yes,
your story though? Because I
yes,
think there's a couple great points that we
yes,
could
please.
like accentuate here. So this is actually so common to see this. Like I see this very often with people that come in and I do assessments for them where they're like, well, but I'm eating pretty healthy and I really don't eat
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
much. But there's a difference between not eating that much in regards to a volume of food and not eating that much in regards to overall calories. And we know
calories.
with the
Yeah.
evidence-based science of nutrition that when it comes to fat loss, you have to control for calories. And yes, we are human beings, and there are so many other factors that come into play. And yes, we talk about all those things, but the base of it all has to be controlling for calories. So when you say, like, I wasn't eating anything, but then obviously the calories were coming from somewhere, and you mentioned maybe I was binge eating or having overeating episodes, very common where people think, well, I'm barely eating anything during the week, but then what is happening maybe on the weekends, or what is happening in between those meals where you're grabbing things and not
Right.
thinking about it. There's that mindlessness of your
Yep.
eating where you're grabbing those higher calorie, like, snacks or different foods. And you're also planning for a wedding. So there might have been some additional stress in your life at that point as well. You also weren't moving your body. So your NEAT, so your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is just like how we burn calories day to day when we're not doing planned exercise. So you're walking, I know if I do a day of house cleaning, the amount of steps that I can get in if I'm going up and
Hmm.
down the stairs, doing laundry and vacuuming and in and out of the house, and even yard work, like half a day of yard work, the amount of steps I can get in because I'm moving my body more, that can all help us to maintain our
Right.
body weight and even increase our how many calories we just genuinely like burn in a day. And so then you talking about your moving, you also then were controlling for calories. Like obviously that was the difference. Plus your NEAT activity was up, all those things. But you're right. If you don't have the awareness around that or the knowledge of like what is happening, you might still be confused of like, I don't know what I did. And
Right.
it's our job as coaches to shine a light on that stuff for our clients and say like, hey, here's what, you know, you might be doing well already. That's great. And here's the things that we can tweak and adjust to get you on the right path. Let's understand how food and nutrition works so that our clients feel empowered, that they know how to make the decisions that are right for them to be able to reach their goals. And I think when we have no idea what we did wrong or what we're doing right, it leaves us in a place where we're trying everything under the sun to be like, well, it must be because I cut out
Hoping
carbs.
something
it must be because I did all this cardio, and it must be because I did this. And so then we're really thinking it's all of these like hacks or these fads or these extremes, when really we have to do the big picture, big rock concepts when it comes to fat loss, particularly, and just even our overall health. And even if we want to, you know, gain muscle, we have to control for calories. We have to take a look at where those calories are coming from, which is going to be those macronutrients. So as Josie mentioned, protein being really important, especially for women. And, you know, also things like, are we managing our stress, and like what's our daily movement look like, and what's our sleep look like? Those are the things that people, they don't think that that's what they need to do, or they want to think like, it's got to be something else. I have to be missing this magical thing. But it's usually the mundane, boring shit that we have to, sorry for language, stuff. We have to do the mundane, boring things day in and day out. That those are the things that we have to get consistent with to get to our goals. It's not cutting out foods or carbs or thinking we need to do 2 hours of cardio every day, or that it's a particular food. It's literally like the same boring stuff all the time. And it's not sexy, and it's not something that people want to hear, but that is the science behind it. And that is the secret sauce. If there's a secret, it's doing the things that work.
Once I learned the like science of nutrition, and that's what made me want to become a trainer and a nutrition coach. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is literally so simple. Once you understand, and these aren't difficult concepts to understand. We could all go to YouTube right now and learn what macronutrients are, how calories work, how to track your food. Like once you start doing that, you're like, this is very simple. Now that doesn't mean that it's easy to do. That's when your habits and your mindset and all that comes in. But that was why I wanted to become a nutrition coach. I was like, oh my God, it's so easy. And everybody thinks we have to think so hard and do all this work and do all this research and do these like, it's like, no, we just got to focus on the simple stuff. But people don't want to do that because it is boring, it is mundane or whatever, you know? So I don't blame people for looking for other answers. Because I remember when I first started tracking too, and like was really going hard on the right things that my trainer had told me to do, it was slow. And I was like, dude, there's got to be something faster out there. Like I got that little itch in my head, like, I don't know. I was like secretly Googling behind her back. I'm like, what, okay, but what could make this go faster? But it is like, no, if you commit to that stuff, it does work. Don't get that shiny object syndrome. And it always reminds me, like I always would tell my clients this, it's like, you know, first of all, this is all science. This is evidence-based. This is the immutable principles of fat loss and weight loss, especially, you know, strictly fat loss, weight loss. So they're not changing, right? And there's, you know, better ways to lose fat and put yourself in a calorie deficit than there are others. And my experience, the flexible dieting approach has worked best for me, has worked best for my clients. It's the easiest to, you know, convey to the normal people and fit into an average lifestyle. You don't have to be a fitness guru or anything. But at the same time, you know, I heard this quote one time from somebody, and that was like, you're going to do it right or do it over. And that runs through my head all the time. It's like, you're either going to suck it up, do some of the hard work at first. And it's kind of hard work at first. Like get track things, got to think a little bit. You have to almost harder than any of that stuff. That stuff's easy. It's coming to face with, oh my God, I've actually been eating
this much
2,700 calories a day. I have a feeling that most people don't think tracking's hard. They just don't want to like look what the reality is in the face, because that was my thing. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that this Starbucks drink that I get every single day was like 700 calories. You know, like that was hard to face. Even sometimes after I lost weight, like I'll get into a new little habit and then I'll just, you know, for curiosity, look it up and I'm like, oh my God, like I get just like, what have I been doing? You know, like that's the hard part, but that's, you either do it right or you do it over. When I think about these like fad diets, it's like, yeah, you can chase the quick fix and you can do that, but most likely you're going to be doing it over again. So I would rather invest a little bit more time and energy learning the science of nutrition and things like that, to get it right so that we can. And that's, I think, what puts the difference between all of that's the commonality between our weight loss stories, right? Is we learned the immutable principles of fat loss and weight loss, and now we can maintain them forever. We don't have to start new diets all the time. And we don't, you know, even if we go back up in weight due to like life circumstances, things like that, we know exactly what to do to get back on it. We don't have to like completely change our lifestyles. It's an effortless flow right back into what we needed. So yeah, I'm glad that you touched on that too, Shobana, when you were saying the thing about the drinks, the liquid diet, and you're like, where were these extra calories coming from? I mean, like that's a perfect example of what happens. It's like, and we don't know, and it's so confusing, and it makes us feel shame, it makes us feel broken, like, oh, this is this one thing I want so bad, but I'll never get it because nothing works. I'm doing this thing that's supposed to work, it's not, but it's like, that's our job, I think, as coaches. It's like instilling that education to an extent and also putting it into practice with our clients. So yeah, totally in agreement with everybody here.
I agree. So thanks to all of you who are joining in. Sophie is here. If you want to say hi to anybody you know, please go ahead, find them and say hi. Sapna.
I'm laughing because Jolene is commenting
Sujata.
on
Josie's message.
Googling behind her trainer's back. She's laughing at that. That was a good one.
Yeah, so a lot of them here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Coach Shobana, Coach Meredith is here, and Coach Josie is here. All three of us run our own individual one-on-one nutrition coaching practice, apart from being a part of Dr. Mark Method, where we coach the coaches to have systems and practices in place. So if you're looking for if you're looking for help to get your systems and practices in place and learn to be in the online space and an online coach, do check us out on Dr. Mark Method, and you can ask your questions there, and Josie, Meredith, Mark, or I will answer it and explain what the program is and take you through that. You can get on our wait list. The current cohort is closed now. Get on our wait list, fill the form, and we will reach out to you. So going to one crazy thing, Josie, any one crazy fat diet that you followed?
So I think here, the one really fortunate thing that I had is I was able to see a professional before I tried a bunch of crazy things. My like crazy thing was I would try to eat healthier or just eat less. And somehow I ended up gaining more weight. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. So that was like multiple cycles of like doing that. I would watch, do you guys remember, it used to be super popular, like those daytime doctor shows. I used to like watch those and be like, I need all these supplements. Luckily, I didn't get any of them, but I was like, this is what's wrong. I don't have cranberry supplements. Like, this is what's holding me back. This is ridiculous. But I would just like try to eat healthier, eat less. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what that meant. I would think that just eating a ton of avocados was super healthy, or eating trail mix was super healthy, because that's how it was marketed, right? Like, I don't blame myself, but it wasn't doing any favors. But I did have the fortunate circumstance that I was able to get a couple intro sessions with a trainer and learn the right things right away. So honestly, I feel like by making that choice and getting that guidance very early on in my journey, I was actually able to be set up pretty well with a good routine. She told me it's going to come down to calories. I think she told me about protein. I just did not. That went right over my head at the time. And I was like, calories. And then that was the one thing that I would change now. Like if I was coaching my clients, I focused strictly on calories for my first foray, the first 60 pounds. It did work. I mean, I did lose the weight and all that good stuff. But at the same time, I wish I had been focusing more on protein. I was eating and I also was younger. And so I was eating you guys know what those Nutter Butter things are? This was my like counting calories. I would fit as much like junk food into my calories as possible. So my macros and like fiber counts, it was not all there. I still lost the weight. I was able to like eat McDonald's, and like I got really good at like fitting things in my macros, which I wish I, you know, had done a more balanced approach then. But I was just focusing on calories, and I wish I had focused more on the macros and like balanced meals and things like that. Eventually I figured it out, and that did help my physique look a lot better. I wasn't just kind of like that skinny fat. It helped me build muscle, and not feel bloated and like crap all the time. But I still do feel like I'm very fortunate because I didn't try like a Weight Watchers, a Beachbody, of this and this and this, just because I started off getting guidance right away. And yeah, but protein, everybody, get your protein. I think that's my number.
I agree with you, Josie. I think the first time I had a coach was Mark.
Yeah.
I have done the nutrition certification. Okay, when I did my personal training, I did shadow a coach for 3 months, work with him, learn the moves and all that, but I never had a nutrition coach because I thought I've read it, science, I know it. But when I started working with Mark, and he said, track it and show me what you're eating. So, and I had 30 grams of protein in there.
Yeah. Well, and it's
30 grams of protein, being a vegetarian. So that was the first one, 30 grams of protein. And he said, okay, let's start working it. And now I'm having 100 to 120 grams. But that was a slow process. And that is when the change started happening. The movement, I didn't track my steps. I knew that I was walking, but I think I was eating back what I was walking.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Yeah.
The thing that, okay, the MyFitnessPal tells you that you can eat back whatever you work out. So it subtracts the net calories and all that. So I did all those things till I did learn it, and then learned from Mark that doesn't work. You get in the strength training, and I started seeing the body composition difference, just like the two of you. So protein is the king. Focus on the protein on the plate, star of the plate, and then add the rest of the things around that. Strength train and walk,
and that's
move more.
The benefit too to working with a nutrition coach opposed to solely a trainer. And I'm a trainer. I think all of us here are trainers, so I'm not dogging on trainers. And actually, when I was a personal trainer, I did a lot of nutrition coaching. I just didn't know it, just from my own experience and the things I learned. But when you're working with a nutrition coach too, that's all they're focusing on. When I was a trainer, I was focusing on all the exercise component of things. So my system for actually nutrition wasn't super dialed in and things like that. So that is a giant benefit. And it's interesting. Like once you start doing nutrition coaching, you do just start to really learn more about what your food is made up of too. Because I remember like being a trainer, my trainer was just like calories, you know, and it's not her fault. She, you know, she actually helped me a lot. I'm glad she went out of her scope a little bit and, you know, gave me that info. But that is, again, the benefit of working with a nutrition coach. So everybody hire Shobana and
or Josie or Meredith, depending on where you are.
Let's cut to the chase, everybody. Anyway, but I'm done. Let's hear from Meredith.
Well, and I have to say, I think something we have similar is that when we first started, we were younger, obviously, and we just wanted to be smaller, right? Yeah. We wanted to be skinny, and that was the goal. And now I think you and I, Josie, can probably get on board with the fact that now health is important, right? And so I think as a coach, something that I value a lot when I'm coaching my clients is I'm like, that's great. If you have a goal and you have fat loss as a goal, fantastic. I'm going to help you get there. But I am not willing to sacrifice your health along the way. Been there, done that, and it is not worth it. So we make sure that we protect all that beautiful muscle that you have in your body. And we make sure that your guts feel good because you're getting enough fiber and you get enough nutrients like your vitamins and minerals. You're getting a variety of whole foods and all of those things within incorporating the stuff that we like. You can have all of the foods. Like that is one of my philosophies. You just can't have all the foods all of the time. And it's also like you have to hit your protein, you have to get in your fiber, and you have to, you know, there's parameters that you have to hit. But it's not just that, so you go have macros and calories, but it's not just that if it fits your macros, right? I'm going to eat all the junk and fit it in there and feel like garbage, but I'm going to be smaller. That's not what we want. Like we want fat loss, but we want health. And as I work with, you know, busy moms, you know, who are moving in closer to a time in their life where they do need to be focused more on their, you know, their protein intake and things like that, because they're hitting perimenopause and even moving into menopause. But even as women, you get to the age of 30, ladies, and you start to lose your muscle mass naturally. Your metabolism starts to, slow down, and it's slowing down because you are not doing resistance training and eating enough protein. That is why your metabolism is slowing down. And then it's just a vicious cycle. So if I can say any two things also to my former self, it would be start resistance training as early as you can. And you eat your damn protein. Like those would be like a couple of the things. So I have a very similar experience but I did the supplements thing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when I lost my first initial 40, I think it was 45 pounds. So got down to 60 pounds or whatever it is. But those first 45 pounds came off in less than 5 months time. So very quick. And I lost a lot of muscle, but I was doing what was called herbal magic. Has anyone heard of that? So it was this.
No.
I can imagine.
It was this.
I can imagine what it is.
Yeah. It was this company that was all shiny and sparkly called Herbal Magic. And I had somebody that I was working with at the time who was doing it and was losing weight. And I was like, I need help. I need something. I had never tried to diet when I was younger, when I was in my teens or that sort of thing. I always wanted to be smaller. My sister was tiny, I was always the bigger one and the bigger friend and all those things, but I never tried anything. I just didn't know even how to start. So I'm like, I need somebody to help me with this. And I saw her losing weight. And fun fact, that particular person that I actually I want to start losing weight because I saw her doing it. She's become a friend of mine, but she actually has worked with me as a client now in later years. Right?
That's
so
wonderful.
Full
Life
circle
comes
moment, pretty crazy.
circle.
But yeah,
It's a protein replacement shake.
Essentially...
Is that what it was? A protein replacement shake is what you used to have? Is that what the Herba
Herbal Magic was a lot of different supplements. So they had me tracking my food, but literally just keeping a food journal. And I got a certain amount of, things in different categories that I could check off. But I know that calories must have been pretty restricted because to lose about 45 pounds in 5 months time, I was losing almost 10 pounds a month. Right. And it was pretty quick. And there wasn't a lot of, they didn't want me eating anything canned or processed. So there wasn't a lot of salt intake. Plus I started working out a little bit and stuff as well. But I actually started having episodes where I was blacking out. I had to have an ECG. My heart rate would drop so low that I'd get lightheaded and my blood pressure was so low. I was actually I did not have enough sodium in my system because I was eating so clean too at the time that I literally was wrecking my body from that. And I think all the supplements that they recommended was part of the package. So I paid a bunch of money to have a coach to check in with every week. I'd go into the building and weigh in front of them and they do my measurements, all of that kind of stuff. But then it was you need to buy this and this and this and this and this. And this is what's part of the package, that sort of thing. And so the amount of, I don't even remember all the things that I would have taken that they recommended. You need this carb blocker and you need this fat burner and you need this. I was 20 years old working hard and literally spending so much money on these supplements that I didn't even know. No one explained to me even really what they were, why I had to take them, but they're just you need to take all these things. And I look back at that
chasing the number. At that time, you were probably chasing the number on the scale and
I was seeing results. And so I was sure, I'll keep taking these things. And I think that's why as a coach now, I don't recommend a lot of supplements. It's there's a couple basic ones I'll get all my clients if you want to do protein, creatine, yes. There's a few, but I don't have here's my prescribed supplement page for you to go spend a bunch of money on. If people don't have to do that, I don't want them. If they're just an everyday person looking to get healthier and lose some weight, we don't need to spend a bunch of money now on supplements. Spend money on, good food and spend money on some equipment at home so you can do workouts at home, and spend some money on a really good water bottle that you're going to want to drink water out of. Those are the things I want you to spend your money on, not on a bunch of crazy supplements. So that would probably be for me the biggest thing of the crazy thing I did. And like I said, I wouldn't take that stuff back because those experiences, as much as I would never recommend that stuff now,
made you who you are today.
Helped me to learn, and I learned, and you fall down and then you pick yourself back up and you carry on and you learn more things. And I think as I move through this process, you just start to fall down faster and get up faster, right? So you fall down and then you stay down there and, what am I doing wrong? And I made a mistake and I messed up. and you struggle to get going again. Now, what's the thing I need to do to get going? Now I know exactly, as Josie said, I know what I need to do because I know the science of nutrition. So I fall down fast and I get up faster. And that just, and the periods in between of when I fall down start to become less and less, right? And so like, or sorry, it's like farther between. So I fall down, and now like the next time I fall is like longer and longer. So anyone who's listening, if you feel like, geez, I just feel like I keep trying and I keep trying and I'm messing up or whatever it is, like hire a coach, get somebody to help you who's not going to do the fads, the extremes, so that you're not struggling on your own. And also it's going to get better. Like you just have to give it time, and you have to keep picking yourself up, and you have to keep moving forward. And it's going to, you know, you're going to be able to do that faster and quicker. And then you're going to have less periods of those moments where you feel like you're messing up, and you're going to feel, I know what to do to get back, you know, on track, or those types of things.
Lovely. So thank you so much. So thanks for all of you joining in. My personal training mentor, Haider, is also joined. Hi, Haider, thanks for joining. He was the one who trained me when I did my NASM personal training certification. And I have my mentors, Meredith and Josie, here with me. So people who are joining in live, and we are almost at the end of the live today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Meredith and Josie, for taking time out to come and chat with me and talk about all the things, that crazy stuff we did, but we had to probably do that to reach where we are now. And probably our clients too had to try those things before understanding that this is probably not how they should be doing it, because they're doing the same, losing the same 5 or 10 kgs again and again and again, because they haven't learned the science behind it. So you can take the hard way, Google search, find something, try it. If it doesn't work, keep trying something else. So you can do that, or invest in your health. It's always an investment. It's not an expense. Get a coach who can find the shortest route for you to come from point A to point B, still enjoying the foods that you love and not having to work out for hours together. I saw Coach Josie's post when I was going through your post today. A couple of things which I wanted to mention was when Josie said, I just work out 3 days a week and more. Yes, that's true. I am not working out 7 days a week. Yes. And then there was Meredith's post talking about the white bread and how she got backlash on eating white bread sandwich. And like, you are a nutrition coach. Are you truly a nutrition coach? You are eating bread.
Right.
So I did hear about these things. So there's no good food, no bad food. All foods have a place in life. Keep the foods that you enjoy. You don't have to cut out anything. You don't have to walk for hours together, but get your protein in, focus on the protein, strength train as many days. Even 1 day is better than 0 days in a week. Get the strength training in and move more. And you will reach your health goals with the support of a coach if you need. And if you're a coach joining in to watch us, and if you're looking for support to set up your online business and have proper system, you might have certifications, but you might still not know how to get the results consistently for your clients. Join the Dr. Mark Method. Coaches Meredith and Josie are here. And before we wind up, just tell us where they can find you on Instagram or on social media, both of you.
Yeah, so I'm coming live from my personal account right now. So I'm at the Everyday Health Coach, and I'm on Facebook as well. But sorry, Josie, that was my fault. I'm on Facebook as well, Meredith Bobbin, but Instagram would be the #1 place. I don't really do too many other platforms because I'm a mom millennial that just like sticks to the basics.
Yep.
And it works. The basics, they work. I'm Coach Josie. You can follow me on Instagram at Josie Cordelette. Otherwise, I'm most active now on the Dr. Mark Method channels. So this Dr. Mark Method account, follow Mark on Instagram, and check us out on YouTube, because that's where we're throwing out most of the content for not only just for nutrition coaches, but we have a lot of great content about fat loss, how to make reaching your goals easier. So there's something for everyone there who wants to learn about nutrition, the science of nutrition. If you're interested in the things we talked about today, we cover a lot of that over there too. So you can find all of us there. And yeah, thanks, Shobana, for having us.
Thank you so
You can
much.
find her all here and get in contact with her because she's the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for
Bye,
joining.
Shobana.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.